Tomorrow morning, our season of language programmes introduces Scottish Gaelic and Hindi and Urdu for beginners.
Well, for the last year that I've been living here in Reading, I've been working as a sort of freelance artist, illustrating my books and also selling my works here in the gallery. I really like watching the Learning Zone programmes actually. Because of them being on so late at night, you have to record them, and so it means you watch them whenever it's most convenient for you, whenever you're most ready to learn something. Sort of by accident, when I've been recording things from the Learning Zone, I've also managed to get some programmes on photography, which has been great because I'm very much an amateur in that. And that's actually led me on to sign up for an evening course starting next year.
This is the Learning Zone for Thursday morning on BBC Two. Coming up next on the Learning Zone, it's BBC Focus, which is followed at 6 o'clock by 3 more programmes from the Open University. Now, BBC Focus. First, English Heritage investigates if the history we hear today is really how it happened. That's followed at 4:30 by a film from UNICEF in Rwanda, where children are learning about settling arguments through watching puppet theatre. At 5, we have a new series of programmes for teachers on basic skills, in particular the difficulties faced by some secondary school pupils. Then at 5:30, the third programme is our series made specially for people working in the voluntary sector. First on BBC Two, History, according to the evidence.
If you're looking for a place where history gets mugged and beaten up, try a visit to the cinema. Whether it's Errol Flynn as Robin Hood, Elizabeth Taylor as Cleopatra, or even Sean Connery as King Arthur, you can be sure that the cinema version of history gives us a misleading idea of people, places, and events in the past. One problem of history on film is that we get caught up in directors' visions of how they'd like the past to look. Never mind the evidence, let's sweep the audience into the fantasy. Thousands of extras, bigger battles, spectacular locations. Complete make-believe. If you want history, what's wrong with a good old ancient monument?
Now this seems to provide us with some real evidence of the past. It's part of the Roman city of Wroxeter near Shrewsbury, one of the largest towns built by the Romans here in Britain. This is the heart of it, a place for business, trade and leisure. And these are the remains of huge public buildings which once dominated this whole area.
But the more you look, the more the confusion. So much detail has gone. So what's the truth? At least there's enough solid evidence here for us to have a go at some reconstruction drawings. Of course, there's no single or correct way of working out how a building like this Roman bathhouse looked when it was in full use 2,000 years ago. It's a series of guesses, opinions, which have the habit of becoming accepted as truth if they're heard often enough. Until, that is, someone comes along with a fresh interpretation based on some newly discovered evidence. Then it's all in the air. But then there always have been lots of versions of history buzzing around at the same time. I mean, chances are that the next generation of historians, learning about history in more practical ways, sifting a greater range of evidence, will come up with fresh insights.
By the end of the 4th century, the bars and the basilica were beginning to become rather decrepit.
But until they form new theories and ideas of their own, the rest of us will have to take history when and where we can find it.
This, of course, fits in with the rest of what we think of Roman Britain. By the beginning of the 5th century, AD 410, the Roman army and the civil servants were moving.
Now here's a sort of expert, someone who really knows what he's talking about. Because he's an official guide, we accept what he says about the site. It's probably the truth. Well, not necessarily. He's only as good as the stories he's heard or from what he's read about Wroxeter. What we really need is some proper written down evidence from an authentic source.
And where better to find original documentation than in an archive? With open access for truth seekers at all reasonable hours, archives are favourite haunts for history detectives and hoarders alike. But where in the myriad collections of ancient maps, bundled papers and computerised databases can we find the grains of historical truth? Are we reading about what really happened? And should we believe those accounts of the past captured and recorded in oral history? Or is everything that's stored and preserved for us to study just someone's opinion riddled with falsehood? The authenticity of documents like these is not in doubt. Good evidence that takes us closer towards the truth, or so you might think. But then again, the more research you do, the more you'll find. A journalist's report in a newspaper will be very different from a personal entry in a diary of the same event. So, who can you believe? The wisest counsel is in not expecting to believe one single voice or set of opinions. Authors and documenters tend to be partial in what they write and investigate, and by no means everyone who has important things to say gets published. So history has plenty of hurdles to leap before appearing in print and on sale to us. By the time the past gets to the present and appears in the books on these shelves, it's been reworked so many times it's probably become even more fictional. Designers and illustrators bring their own contemporary styles to the work they do, and like the guide at Wroxeter, work to the evidence which authors and researchers give them.
118 railway Terence with his mother, father.
And nowhere is this potential for corrupting the past better realised than in the books written for children. Not that it's a bad way to introduce history. Talking about the past is a powerful means of sparking interest. But all the same, what we say and read to them is just one episode in dealing with the evidence.
Large wheels there, one hood, and yet 2 babies, so one of them's going to get very wet. Look at the steamship as well.
The text and pictures in a new book like this present a completely different view of the past from books given to me at school in the 1950s. So where would I find evidence which is constant and unchanging? If not in films, in stories, or in what's written down, could I find it in objects and in places where the past is faithfully and carefully preserved? How about in the things tucked away in museum land? Which of us has not at some time cruised the corridors or drifted among the display cases? What is it that makes museums so appealing? Perhaps they bring out the hoarder and collector in us. You know, that bit that can't bear to throw old things away. Well, whatever it is, I'm afraid I'm a museum addict. As an adult, wandering past the bits and pieces that have made it down the centuries, or stumbling across objects you recognise and understand, means you can't avoid snap connections to the past. But if you're a young visitor, perhaps for the very first time in a museum, what's the memory you'll take away with you? A genuine interpretation, or a confused jumble of the past? Too many things from too many periods. And in any case, can objects ever make any historical sense unless you see them in a full-scale reconstruction? In one way, a handsomely preserved city like York is a full-scale historical reconstruction in itself. The medieval lanes, the close-packed houses, the picturesque shops. But walking the streets, you can sometimes feel more part of a storybook than in touch with any historical reality. Until, that is, you meet up with Jorvik, a careful reconstruction of an ancient Viking settlement. The excitement of reconstructions like Jorvik here is that you really do feel like a time traveller. For a few magical minutes, swept back 1,000 years to the people, noise, even the smells of Viking York. But the thing is, can you really believe what you see? I just can't help feeling that I've tumbled into one of those present-day weekend historical fairs. You know, the ones with a Y in fair. Is this actually how it was? And did Viking settlers really look like that? The truth at last? But to be fair, because all this is based on excavated evidence, it's a pretty good guess about how people lived. Leather stuff, for example, shoes, belts, this money bag, are all replicas of things which archaeologists have actually dug up. This reconstruction is so convincing, it can jumpstart your imagination and spin you towards all sorts of evidence. Fresh eyes for seeing other objects from the same period. And no longer are these just bits and pieces in a display, but you begin to fit them into a picture of the past, which is beginning to form in your mind. It is extraordinary how custom-made objects based upon evidence of what might have been in use hundreds of years ago can give such a strong sense of being in touch with history. So I do have to keep reminding myself that this is just another version of how things might have been, and that for children who visit reconstructions like this, is just one more way of approaching evidence about the past. That's why it is important to allow them to speculate about how things might have been, to know about a range of evidence, and to investigate it from different angles. Of course, the timelines, dates and events are important, but so is the possibility of interpretation, the chance to try out things and reflect upon what might have happened in the past. If you've got that background of interest and a set of unanswered questions to investigate, then for children, visiting a monument like Alford Castle becomes an inquiry into the evidence. Imagine yourself as a medieval maintenance engineer and you start thinking more carefully about ways the stonework is built.
Yeah. No? Yeah. Because there's a bit of wall over there, that's not very strong.
Oh, that bit there.
Discuss storage schemes needed in preparation for a siege, and you begin to reflect on the way rooms in the castle might have been used.
Right, gather around the well. This is the most important thing in the castle. We've got to make sure this is at all times full. We must move this flower.
And it's often by asking and answering questions that you build a much more informed way of thinking about historical evidence.
You go and make sure they stack them properly.
But no one would pretend that approaching the past through a range of evidence is the easiest route to follow. And of course, looking at books, picking up on the evidence in museum displays, even trawling through authentic documents or listening to the stories told by historians, can, if you're not careful, seem to make things more confusing. But does that matter? Is it a reason for not showing children historical feature films and the whole range of distorted evidence that follows? Or should we be more prepared to tolerate the contradictions they'll find? In the end, I suppose, it is important to recognise that different sources of evidence will give us more than one interpretation of the past, and that questioning and comparing alternative versions is central to our understanding of history. In the second part of this film, we've put together some historical evidence drawn from different sources. It's designed for your pupils to consider how varying interpretations of history can cast a different light on places and events. Look at these modern drawings of parts of a Roman town. What evidence do you think the artists were given to make their drawings? And now you'll fly over the remains of a Roman city in Britain. Can you work out where the buildings were and how big they might have been? Coming next are 3 pretend television commercials. Do you think they contain any real evidence about the Romans?
Looking for the way to brighter shopping days. Everybody has to visit our store.
There's never been a better time to barter for a bargain at your local Centurion stores. Choose from our huge selection of fine tableware, specially imported from Gaul. Everything must go, and it's all half price at the Centurion Stores Monster Sale.
Living today, you know what you want. Try it our way. Shopping today.
Now on.
Imagine an olive oil silky smooth, so versatile it can be used for cooking, cleansing and lighting. An oil rich in the natural ingredients of the Mediterranean. Flaminius olive oil, the oil of life.
Come and relax at the Strigill Bathhouse. You can unwind with an invigorating massage from our fully trained slaves. Order from a range of hot and cold snacks or catch up on some exercise. But don't leave without taking a soak in one of our heated baths. All our rooms feature cutting-edge hypercaust heating technology direct from Rome. At the Strigill Bathhouse, we guarantee you'll discover that leisure has never been so much pleasure.
Senators,
watch this short extract from a feature film. Which bits have they got right? What have they got wrong?
Our only way is to lead an army into Africa. If you don't impede me, You will see that as I land in Africa, Hannibal will quit Italy. Danny has been avenged.
on BBC Two, how children are learning to resolve conflict, from UNICEF's Puppets for Peace.
We need harmony between us as Burundians. It is not good to live with fighting. The only solution is to get along and everything will work out. Hello, I'm Lawrence Fishburne. Those words were recently spoken by a young child in Burundi after seeing an extraordinary puppet show about peace. In a country caught up in violence and ethnic tension since 1993, the children of Burundi are suffering unspeakable horrors that threaten their lives and affect their family life, health, and minds. Beyond providing urgent emergency relief to feed and clothe these children, UNICEF is working with local psychologists and artists to help them cope with personal trauma, adjust mentally, and prepare for the future. It's a new approach which unites children of different ethnic origins to learn the skills they'll need to resolve conflicts peacefully. The puppet show you are about to see, Alone We Are Nothing, uses live theater, an uncommon experience in Burundi, to teach the skills of conflict resolution. As the puppets captivate audiences in schools, refugee camps, and centers for disabled and unaccompanied children throughout the country, the children of Burundi learn to become a positive force for peace. Let us now go to Burundi, where on the shores of Lake Tanganyika, a peaceful scene echoes with the laughter of children from all around, and violence seems to exist only in some other world, far, far away. Here, the sounds of the drums still have the power to send their messages, each beat an invitation to anyone who would listen. So as the birds fly in the bright blue skies and the animals graze in the fields, they come, following the song of the drums, bringing their own songs of joy, which grow louder and louder with each approaching step. For a chance to forget the violence that permeates life here is not a chance to be missed. And in Burundi, as everywhere, children love a good story.
Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you could come today. I would very much like you to meet a couple of my friends. My friend, the dog.
Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to meet you. And to prove it, let me dance for you.
Oh, and now, meet my other friend. Welcome, the cat.
Good morning. I'm also happy to meet you, and I'd like to dance for you as well.
Good morning. Are you all right?
Yes, my friend. I'm fine. Are you all right?
The dog and the cat hug. Now, I will tell you a story about the cat and the dog and 3 bags of beans. Here's one. There's another. It's right down here. 2. But that's not all. And 3. These seem to be just simple bags of beans, but such a simple thing can be the cause of great strife or great joy. How can this be? The beans have no great power. It is not a magic bag, not in the least. It is still just a simple bag of beans. But sometimes things, no matter how small, can be made into much more than they are, or much more than they deserve.
My friend, I tell you, I'm very happy. I'm glad that we are here together. I cannot lie to you. I love dancing.
Oh, I'm also happy to be here because we can share this time together and have fun and dance.
I'm glad to be having fun and dancing with my friend the cat.
Like brothers and sisters, you would think nothing could destroy the friendship between the dog and his great friend the cat, except perhaps a simple bag of beans. The dog slipped on the beans and had a terrible fall.
Meow. Oh, what's the matter? What's the matter? You seem upset about something. Oh, my friend, what could be wrong? Has anything happened? What's the matter? Stop it, my friend. Why are you beating me? Have you gone mad? Stop it! Stop it! I don't understand what you think I've done. Stop! Forget it. Come on, let's dance.
The dog tries to dance, but he is too upset to continue. And it is not long before he gets angry and starts to beat the cat again.
You, cat of the bush! You did this on purpose, and you won't do it again!
No! Stop it, my friend! Stop it! Stop it! Why do you do this to me? For the sake of our friendship, stop beating me. If you continue to beat me, we'll fight. We will fight.
I cannot talk to someone like you anymore. You threw me down to the floor.
Oh, please explain to me what this is all about. Please. We used to share our food and dance together. What's happened?
Oh! You, the cat of the field. You are bad. We used to be friends, but no longer. You pushed me to the floor on purpose. You and no one else did that.
How did I push you to the floor? You're crazy. We were both dancing. Me here, you over there. How could I have pushed you to the floor?
You tell lies. You're a liar. You did push me to the floor. And besides, who else do you think could have done it? There was no one else here but you and me.
Oh, let us understand each other. You said that I pushed you down? That is absolutely not true.
It is true. You threw me down. I felt it, and you know it.
Well, it's impossible. My friend, let me show you. I was over here. You were over there. How could I have pushed you to the floor?
It is true. I do not believe what you're telling me. You are not my friend.
What could stop these two from fighting? Here comes their friend, the cow. Perhaps she can help.
Hello, my children. How are you? It is such a beautiful day. A day for singing and dancing. Good morning, my dear friends. What is going on? What is going on? Oh no! 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 What's this all about? How can you be fighting? Why are you fighting? Yesterday you two were so cozy. You're friends. And now look at you. I do not understand. You are friends. What has happened? Ow! 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 You are hurting me. Hey, I can't stop. Watch out. Ow!
The poor cow was caught in the middle of the fight between his two friends.
Stop it! Stop it! Do you think that by fighting you will solve your problems? Not at all. I do not understand.
The cat and the dog refused to see reason. There seemed to be nothing to stop them from doing battle. Perhaps because there was nothing to start it.
I don't get it. Why are they fighting? Why are they hitting me? Why are they hitting each other? Oh, I do not like this, not one bit.
Good morning, my dear cow. I wish you a nice day, but it seems that you have a problem. Is there anything wrong? What is the matter? Is it your milk?
It is not my milk that troubles me, for I have plenty. But oh, help me, kind gentleman. I am being badly beaten up by the dog and the cat.
Goodness, my dear cow. Tell me, what have you done?
Nothing. They are battling each other. I don't get it. I am so confused.
Well, how can that be? They have been friends for such a long time. Well, they were like family. What do you think could have started the whole thing?
The dog says the cat pushed him down, and the cat says he did not do it. The dog doesn't believe the cat, and the cat is angry at the dog.
Now, if it is true what you are saying, whatever happens, they must try to understand each other and live peacefully together. Now, let me think, my friend. Let me see. I have an idea. Go and ask the dog to come here. My plan is to set a task for the dog and the cat that will prove to each of them how important they are to the other. Just watch. Let's see if we can make them friends again. And to do that, they must first learn to understand each other. When fights begin with misunderstandings and needless hatreds, they can build and build until they become out of control. Then from there, who knows where it will stop? And that is a situation we must all work to avoid. Ah, it looks like the cow has tracked down the dog and brought him to me.
Well, I brought the dog back with me, but it was not easy.
Oh.
Hmm? I am through. I hope you can handle this. I am leaving.
Greetings of peace. Can I ask you to do something for me? I need some help. I need to go and visit some friends, but I have 3 bags of beans that I don't want to take with me. Can you guard them for me until I get back?
Yes. No problem.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's a good dog. Now, and no matter what happens, please be sure to look after them. I will only be gone for a little while, but I will feel better if I know you are guarding them. The dog busies himself preparing to protect the bag of beans. It may be more difficult than he thinks.
Let me have a look around just to make sure there's no one trying to steal the beans. I don't see anyone over here, nor there. I've got an idea. Can you all help me? If you see someone trying to steal the bag of beans, will you all shout out? Huh? Are you sure? I think we should practice. Now, when I pick up the bag of beans, you shout out like someone's gonna steal it. Someone like that cat of the field, for instance. All right, pretend I'm the cat. Have you got it? Okay. I can barely hear you. Did you do it? I think louder. Now that was better. I almost heard you that time. Let's try it one last time. Stand up, everybody. Excellent. Don't forget to shout out if you see anything. Okay? Get away, thief! You were great! Thank you! Thank you! Oh, with all that excitement, I'm quite tired. I think I need a rest. Now, you guys relax and call me if you see the thief come back, will you? Stop that, you silly little animal! Leave those beans alone!
Hello? Dog? Dog? Where are you? Where's one of the bags of beans? Do you know what's happened? Do you know where one of the bags has gone? Oh, I see. I understand. Oh, really? He ran off. They were too fast? But of course dogs aren't really designed for... But he chased off a thief? He really did do his best then. We must call him back. Will you help me? Then we must all call him back together. All right, all together then. Thank you for coming back. Everybody here has told me what's happened. I want you to know that I am not angry with you. You did what you could, but alone you were not able to safeguard the beans from the rats. They were just too quick. Go wait over there for a moment and relax a while. Put up your feet. Now, where's that cat? All of you. Can you all help me call her?